Hello and welcome to my show Indus Cuisine. I'm your chef Basim Akhund. We're back with another new episode and a new recipe from the heart of Pakistan. Today's recipe is very easy and it dates back to the Ayurvedic times, or one can say the Mohenjo Daro times, when Pakistan had the oldest civilization that is known to mankind. This recipe is known as Karelay Gosht. You've heard it right. It's a very new vegetable, also known as bitter gourd, and this recipe has been used for medicinal purposes. As time passed and as people evolved over time, people started adding meat, mutton, lamb meat, and also chicken meat to this recipe. But the reason of having or making this recipe back in the day was that this vegetable, which is known as the bitter gourd, it's actually very good for your health. It keeps your cholesterol low, it purifies your blood, and there's a way of cooking this. Usually when people cook this recipe, they think that, you know what, it's too bitter, it's going to get really sour, or the dish will go bad. But there's a way behind this recipe. As they say, there's a method to every madness, so there's a way behind this recipe also. You need to cure this vegetable first, and how will you cure it? I'll let you know. The first way of curing it is very simple. What you need is hot boiled water, which I've actually poured over here, and I'll just put the machine on, and once the water comes to boil, I shall add it to a bowl. I shall get a bowl first, and then I'll let you know all the other ingredients. So the bowl is here. What are the ingredients today? First of all, you need around 1 kilogram of boneless beef. I'll keep it over here. Then you need around 1 kg of this beautiful vegetable, which is very good for health. This is the way it looks like before it is peeled, and this is how you actually use it after peeling. You need to always take the peel off very thoroughly. Why? Because it's really bitter, but the inner part of the vegetable is also bitter, but you need to cure it first. The other ingredients are, you need at least 4 tomatoes, 2 onions, some coriander, some mint leaves for garnish towards the end. You need coriander powder, cumin powder, red chili powder, salt to taste, turmeric powder, ginger shredded, garlic shredded. You need around half a cup of oil, half a cup of clarified butter, and around 5 to 6 green chilies. As you can see, I've kept another portion of red chili, which is dried, also known as degi mirch in our country, and around half a cup of more clarified butter. We shall use this towards the end to temper this dish. So first of all, what you need is the hot water, which is over here. I've boiled it properly. I shall just pour it in a bowl. And keep it on the side. Add around half a teaspoon of salt in this, and then you need the vegetable. Okay, so first what we'll do is we'll keep it on the side, or on the board you can say, and you need to cut it into pieces. So the stem of the vegetable, we'll take it out. So what we'll do is we'll just start cutting it into 1-inch thick pieces. As I'm doing it in front of you, this goes on the side. So this recipe will be cooked in 3 parts. The first part is I shall put all of this in hot water, and I shall then take it out, dry it out, and deep fry it. Once I have fried it and it gets this nice light brown color, we'll keep it on the side for a bit. And then the second part would be we shall take this beef, cut it into small pieces, or you could say slices, and we should add it to the pressure cooker for around 10 to 12 minutes, where it will get really soft, really tender, and then we should incorporate it in the recipe. The third part of the recipe is how to make the spice or the masala for this recipe, which I shall tell you step by step. So now I've added the salt. What you shall do is you shall add all of this in the water and give it a plate on top and let it rest for at least 5 minutes. So what will happen? The salt in the water will bring out all the bitterness of this vegetable, and then you shall use it. So I've added the salt, just dip it in once more, and now bring a plate. So what I'll do is I'll keep a nice plate on top and let it rest for at least 5 minutes. So I'll keep it on the side. You don't need these things anymore. This goes into the dustbin. And now you need to start preparing the beef. Why should we prepare the beef right now? Because whenever you go step by step, you get proper time and you can execute the recipe properly. So I'll change the board, I'll keep it on the side, and I'll take a breadboard. Instead, it's going to come here and we shall use the beef now. It's a kilogram of beef. Take the upper part out. I've partially cleaned it, you could say. The partial cleaning would be just taking off the deep fat layer which is on top. So what you need to do is first you need to make it into equal pieces. Always try keeping your knife really sharp. So I'm just going to sharp my knife once and it's done. Keep it on the side. Slowly and gradually just cut through the beef. A sharp knife takes you a long way, remember that. And wherever you see this muscle, just cut it along the line. So this is done. Now what I'll do is I shall cut really thin pieces of the beef. This recipe which I'm cooking today is for around 5 to 6 people easily. It depends on how much you eat though. But if you take a normal portion, 5 to 6 people would easily feast on a full stomach on this. This recipe is usually taken with either bread or rice. This recipe is not taken with any form of pita bread. Why? Because this recipe is a local recipe in Pakistan and mostly this is the way how it's consumed for the past God knows how many years in Pakistan. Why? Because as I said, it dates back to really long ago. And if you see this part of beef which has a lot of fat, just keep it on the side or throw it on the side. Why? Because you wouldn't need that. Now as you can see, this part of the meat is a bit thick. What I'll do is I shall just cut it even more. Hold your knife and just pull it. Just keep going. Try keeping all the sizes of the pieces you're cutting equal. Why? Because if the pieces are equal, the time you're giving it in the pressure cooker will cook each and every piece equally and perfectly. If a piece would be thicker than the other piece, what would happen is some piece could be properly cooked and the other piece could be a bit raw. So you need to remember one thing, you need to always cut it to precision. So it takes time. I could have cut it before, but I try keeping it more interactive where you could see what I'm doing in terms of a cooking show. So quickly but slowly keep going through it. This is done. Now what you need is you need a pressure cooker. You need around half a liter of water, and I'll keep this beef on the side, or maybe I'll just put it in also, because as I said, I've measured it and I shall use it. Okay, keep it on the side. Now take a pressure cooker, but before that rinse your hands always. Okay, the cooker is over here. First I'll take it and I'll keep it on the stove here. Add around half a liter of water. The water goes in. I'll keep some on the side. Why? Because if I need some more, I'll let you know. Pick up the board, slide the beef in it. And you don't need this anymore. This goes on the side. We bring back the green board. Keep it over here. And now you need to see that the beef is properly submerged. So I'll keep it over here for a second so that you can get a nice side shot of it. Okay, the beef is properly submerged in the water. We'll pick it up, keep it here, add like another 150 ml of water just in case. Now remember, you need to kill that strong fragrance of beef. So for that I'll take some ginger and just cut it into 4 chunky pieces so that the flavor of the beef is nicely, integrated with the fragrance of the ginger. Now add around, let's say, half a teaspoon of salt in the water. Why? Because it brings out the fragrance. Shake it a bit, give it a lid, and once the whistle blows, you should start counting 10 to 12 minutes. So I'll just increase the heat. Once the whistle blows, the heat goes down. Okay, now the second step. What you need is you need a fresh pan, and get a frying pan because we want to shallow fry it. So once this comes to heat, we'll add the clarified butter and the oil. But before that, you need to take out all the water from the bitter gourd, which is over here. I'll just shake it a bit like this, and I'll drain the water out. Remember always to properly press it. So what I'll do is I'll press it, but in front of you on a, you can say, strainer. So as you can see, I've kept the bitter gourd over here. What I'll do is I'll just press it properly so that if there's any water, it goes down. I mean, it will be a few drops only, not much, but this is the way because you need to take the bitterness out of it. This is done. I'll keep it on the side, and now goes in the oil first. And then we add the ghee, the clarified butter basically. Turn it around and add it to the pan. It's winters in Islamabad now, so it's pretty cold. That's why you'll be seeing me wearing a sweater. And the other thing is, you'll see the clarified butter completely frozen or tough. Why? Because if you give it this nice, you can say, cold weather, or if you keep it in the fridge, what happens is it starts coming together and it gets kind of frozen like thick butter. But if in the summers you'll see this, it will be really watery, runny, just like oil you have around you. Okay, so once this comes to heat, which it has almost, what I'll do is I shall add this over there. But till then, what we'll do is we need to save time and we need to do a lot of things. I'll keep this on the side just for a moment and I'll start shredding the ginger. Ginger shreds on the thinnest side, so slowly and gradually. Keep it over here and take around 4 pieces of garlic. We shall require this later in the next step, not right now. And here we go, the 4 pieces of garlic are done. So just take the skin, pull it on the side and throw it in the dustbin. Okay, just shake it once, pull it if you can see some strands, and this is ready. Keep it on the side. As you can see, it has properly boiled. What I'll do is I shall just add the bitter gourd over here and deep fry it. Mix it up once so that every piece gets equal fat, or you could say the butter and oil mixture, and let it fry. So this will fry for around 5 minutes, and as you can see, the whistle has also almost gone off. So till the time this is cooking, what you could do is you could go for a short break, and once you're back, you could see what to do next. Keep watching Indus Cuisine. Welcome back. You're watching Indus Cuisine and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. During the break we did nothing, I just waited for you and I was just keeping an eye on the bitter gourd over here. As you can see, I have cooked it to an extent that it is light brown. I should just mix it a bit and give it another 1 minute, and then I'll dish it out momentarily in a bowl. So what I'll do is I'll pick up a fresh bowl, let's say over here, keep it here, and on the other hand what I need is I need some onions, around 2 onions, and I'll finely chop them, and after that I shall dish it out over here. So keep the stove on low heat and let this cook. And now let's finely chop the onions. The root is on over here, remember, keep the root on, the onion won't fall apart. And then just make these cuts around 4 to 5 and a cut in the center, and then just pass your knife smoothly. This is done. Keep the root on the side, you don't want this, remember this. Why? Because it is a bit bitter and the flavor wouldn't be that good if you add it in the dish. So finely chop the onions like this. Keep an eye on the bitter gourd over there. Why? You don't want it to go bad. This is done. Okay, now you need to dish this out. So what I'll do is I had a bowl over there. I shall just pick it up, drain the oil and transfer it over here. Keep it on the side just for a bit, and you won't throw this oil away. Why? Because this oil has the flavor, has all the things you need for the recipe to be followed. And here we go. You don't need this anymore. Keep it on the side. And now this is a little too much. What we'll do is we just need around, you could say, half a cup of oil. So what I'll do is I'll take a bit out and I'll use the rest, but you will be using this oil only. So reduce the heat to the pilot and just save the oil on the side. Do not throw it away. Always cook properly and try reducing the wastage. Why? Because if you stop wasting, as you know, that the planet Earth is in problem due to global warming and excess of utilization of all the resources around us. So minimize the resources usage and maximize what you're doing and give Earth a chance to breathe. Okay, this is done. Throw this. And now transfer all the onions to the pan. You want the onions to get translucent, remember that. Add around just a quarter teaspoon of salt. Increase the heat and let it cook. Till the time, what you'll do is you'll pick up 4 tomatoes. And finally slice them. So take the eye of the tomato out first. Keep your knife sharp. If you have a nice sharp knife, the tomatoes are going to get cut easily. Okay. As you can see, the oil has come to heat. I'll just mix it up. Reduce the heat, give it a lid. This is done. Slice the tomatoes from between like this. And now, just finely chop them. What will happen is the tomatoes are going to break down and it will convert into a nice paste. We are done over here. And now transfer all of this into the pan, but not right now. Just keep an eye on the pressure cooker. Also, you don't want to overcook the meat. So what I'll do is I'll just shake it a bit and see if there's water. There is water over here. The onions are properly cooked. Now what you need is keep the lid on the side. And as you can see, they're translucent. Once more, add some spices. Okay, so what I'll do is I shall push the onions on the side like this, squeeze them so that the oil comes in the front, and I shall put the spices in the oil so that it gets a chance to fry properly. So first what I'll do is I'll add cumin powder, then I'll add the turmeric powder, then I'll add the coriander powder. When this is done, what I'll do is I'll add the ginger garlic shredded, and I'll mix it up a bit like this. Now mix it up in the onion and just shake it. This is done. And now increase the heat and transfer the tomatoes. You do not need to add any form of oil in this, remember that. Why? Because the tomatoes will give out its water, which is also known as the vegetable moisture, because you need that oomph flavor. You don't want it to water down. Mix it up. Give it a lid. Reduce the heat and let it cook for 5 minutes. So till the time this is cooking, what we'll do is we will just dish out the meat over here. It's been around 12 minutes. Always see if it's cold. It is. And let it rest for 15 minutes on the side. So once I open the cooker, I shall let you know what to do next. As you can see, I just let the pressure cooker rest for a bit and I've taken it out. If you want to see, the beef is really soft. it is literally falling apart. It's like you can pull it and it's like ready in like 12 minutes. I won't put this in the food. Why? Because I just touched it with my hands. I don't want cross contamination. Remember that. Rinse your hands once, and as you can see on the other hand, the tomatoes are also nice and soft. Just pick a ladle up or a wooden spoon, squish it. I want this nice texture. This is done. I shall change the pan over here, increase the heat to full, and firstly what I'll do is I shall add like just a little bit, you could say like a tablespoon of clarified butter. Let it melt, turn it around, and take green chilies, all of them. I want the sticks on for this one right now. Reduce the heat to medium because you don't want to burn it. Just slit it from between like this. Make a nice cut, but you don't want the knife to pass through the other side. So just do it on this one place. This is done. Okay. Add the green chilies to the wok. Just roast the green chilies in the oil on high heat. Cook them. I'm not adding too much of oil, remember that. I'm just giving it a chance to sear the flavor and like give it this nice charred flavor on top. Okay, now keep mixing it. Now as you can see, there's fire in the pan. This means I'm giving it a nice roasted flavor. The green chilies are done. Transfer the meat into it first with just a ladle full of water. Smells delicious. And now transfer the meat. Do not add too much of water in this. Just try taking out the beef, and that is about it. This is done. Keep this on the side. Keep this here. Mix it up. Add the bitter gourd over here. Mix it further. And now on the top, add the paste. But before that, transfer this over here. Add another ladle of the water in this. I want to dilute it a bit so that I can properly mix it over there. And transfer it into this. This goes over here. The pan comes back. Coat it with the nice sauce you made. And as you can see, the recipe is done. What I'll do is I'll keep it on the side for a second. 1, 2, and 3. Add the remaining clarified butter into this because I want to temper it a bit. What you need is, you need these red chilies. I'll keep it over here. And 1 piece of green chili. Just finely chop the green chilies and just look at this. Hit it like this, lightly, not too much. Okay, this has come to heat. Increase the heat to full, and now fry these spices in it. So till I'm frying this, I'll start dishing it out and I'll show you the final look. So as you can see, this recipe is ready. It's not a very gravy-like recipe. It's dry, but it's filled with flavored and spices. And when I say spices, it doesn't mean red chili, it means flavor, it means masalas. And I just temper it with like some clarified butter, red chilies, and fresh green chilies. I hope you liked today's recipe. I'll see you in another episode of Indus Cuisine. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.